David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up.
So?
David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up.
So?
This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. This is David Johnson, and you're listening to The Neutral Zone. Lace them up. David Johnson, and you're listening to the Neutral Zone. Lace them up.
They do. But then when it's time to have that crucial time where he has to make those coaching moves where time management comes into play and all that, what you call it? It's like, man, so yeah, that dude. But this game, I can't see Kansas City losing 2 times in a row on their home field. I can't see that, but there's a blueprint that can, teams will copy each other. And maybe the Texans can take a page out of the Colts book, and that is physical. Okay. A finesse team does not like the physical, and now that finesse team is handicapped. Now, when Mahomes is hobbling around and he can't get around and get out of that pocket and move around like he does. If you can cause a little havoc on the physical side, you might end up pulling a win out of there. That'll be their second loss in a row. That's kind of how I see. They're banged up. They don't have Tyreek Hill. They don't have Sammy Watkins. J.J. Watt can probably tee off on Mahomes now that he's stationary. So I don't know. I would say, man, I'm not gonna go like I did last week. I took some serious hits last week. I got that one Packer one on you, though.
You got that
but
one.
Nah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs in this game.
What you got, Sean?
Man, I gotta go Chiefs too. Houston gives up 292 passing yards per game, only 95 rushing. Only 95 rushing. Unfortunately for them, KC can play with an unbalanced game and still run away with it on you.
Right.
They've been passing all year long and not really running so much. They need to have less penalties. KC, that is. They had a lot of penalties last week. And I think they'll bounce back from a freak loss against Indianapolis. So I'm going to Chiefs.
Let's go to the Lions at the Packers. This is interesting just because I think the Lions have seem to be more of a cohesive team. They're not necessarily playing like gangbusters, but anytime you have rivals of this sort that are going against each other, they're playing the Lions at the Packers on Monday night. The Packers are off to a great start. People are starting to really come around on the Packers. So this is going to be an interesting. Will the Lions be able to shut down? Be able to shut down the quarterback for the Packers? Will they be able to get to Aaron Rodgers? So your thoughts on this one, Sean?
The Lions have put up a decent fight against teams like KC, but all their games have been decided by 6 points or less. Meanwhile, Green Bay's got a higher differential. I think the Lions are going to test Green Bay, but ultimately lose late. The Packers will solidify still that good record and further themselves in this division. The Lions are just kind of one of those weird teams where they come in and they don't and they show up, but they're still within every game, which is what you want in a team. But the Packers are doing more than that this year. They're not looking to be within 7. They're looking to be 10-point win, 12-point win. So I got to go Packers.
What you got, Earl?
I look at the Packers and you would think everything rides around Aaron Rodgers, but this year it's not. Everything's riding around that defense so far.
How he feels about that? Somebody who's the world. He's been the center of the universe, right?
Right.
He's the center of the solar system, and now things are starting to change.
Sometimes I get a little. I'm thinking how you thinking because sometimes I'm watching the TV and I'm watching him on the sidelines. Like it feels like everybody.
Just doing these daps.
Yeah, it feels like everybody afraid of this dude. It's like everybody else don't want to say nothing wrong or do nothing bad or say nothing out of the ordinary to piss him off. But.
He might be a little insecure.
I think so. But their defense is real, man. But the two dynamics that are going to clash in this game is that the Lions love to throw the ball deep. And so now can those cornerbacks keep up with what the Lions do? And I think defense always wins over offense. So the Packers are playing pretty good on defense. I got to go with them in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The defense is carrying the team a little bit right now, but for the first time in a long time, they look like a more complete team.
Yeah.
Even though Rodgers isn't dominating and throwing the ball over the place. So I actually like that more about them. And when you talk about whether that's good for Rodgers, I guarantee you if you get him another Super Bowl,
he ain't going to give it
he
that.
could care less
Exactly.
the formula,
right?
As long as they get it done. So Detroit's coming off a bye, so they get a little rested. They always give a good fight. Well, not always, but most of the time they give a good fight up there in Green Bay. And like you said, Sean, their team just hangs around all
Right.
the time. And, but I'm anticipating that defense as well as they've been playing, especially on the road last week against the Cowboys in Dallas, looking for them to be all over Stafford and make them revert, because the Lions have come in this season with more of a running attack, some ball control. And that's how they kind of stayed in the game with KC.
Right.
But with this one, I just think that Green Bay defense is going to be all over them, stuffing the run, force them to throw the ball old school Stafford, and this will be Green Bay all the way for me.
So here's a game that I think is interesting for a couple different reasons. You have the 49ers at
Oh,
the
Jake,
Rams.
real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do y'all think that running game they had last week was for real? Or that was just who they was playing against?
Meaning
Green Bay.
Green
Jones. What's his last name?
Jones, right?
Yeah, Aaron Jones.
He had like 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, and I mean he ran
You gotta
all
do it
over
more
that.
than once.
Yeah,
Once
thank you,
is
thank you,
an aberration.
thank you.
Twice.
Two's a trend, maybe.
Two's a trend, 3 times.
3 is a pattern, right?
Right. Okay, so I don't have to pick him up on fantasy league. Okay, good.
I mean, you can. Good luck.
Let's get to the Rams at the 49ers. Or the 49ers at the Rams, I should say. The 49ers are 4-0. They really took it to the who did they play last week? They took it to the Browns.
Come on.
Smashed them fools. Too.
Bosa was a beast. I think he was motivated for a lot of different reasons, but playing on that spotlight, of Monday night can do it for you. The Rams have lost 2 games in a row. I just wonder, you pay your quarterback all that money, right? You pay him all that money. But beyond that, the defense is giving up a lot of points, because this last game they gave up 30. Previous to that, they gave up 55 points. So there seems to be things are not all in order in terms of where the Rams are concerned. So your thoughts on this and what you got, Earl?
Speaking of the 49ers, I mean, they are a good team, not a great team. They're a good team. I mean, I still see them having not beaten anybody yet.
Right.
I still see them having really had that stiff competition that says this is what this is a real playoff contender against what they're doing. They're doing some good things. Jimmy G doesn't look like a star quarterback. He looks more like a manager of the game. And if he can just stay, I mean, that's okay to win like that if you're winning like that. Yeah. But man, I think he's just, if he stays with the managing how he does, they can get over with that. Richard Sherman on the other hand,
can't wait to talk.
That's
a dude that loves to win a little bit, talk a lot.
That dude, I don't know why, I just love that dude, man. I'm sorry, I'm not here to. I mean, it's hard to love him because he's in my division and he's always talking, but some of the stuff he's saying is real, though.
Yeah. Except for that handshake.
Man.
That was not real.
That's funny.
It did not happen.
That's funny. But yeah, but I mean, he got to talk himself up to get into a game because he's getting older. He doesn't have that athletic ability like he used to, so he's got to kind of talk his way up on it. But the Rams are struggling, man. What is going on? They're struggling to get back to that high-powered offense because everybody didn't figure them out.
Plus Gurley.
Yeah, and they're not running Gurley.
A huge component of that.
Right.
Huge part of that.
And it's different. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Niners in this one just because they got defense that can hang around with this team. Then they don't look like the same Rams.
What you got, Ed?
Man, I don't trust the 49ers
Can't trust
enough
it.
yet.
Yep.
I just, I know what the record says.
90 damn days on a slave ship. Count them forward. 1, 2, 3.
And I just, and you brought up some great points. I mean, Cleveland basically just, turned over and just said, thank you, sir, can I have another, type of thing.
Among other things.
And yeah, exactly. And so for me, I'm still waiting for that ultimate competition.
Right.
Going into LA to play the Rams. Rams are really scuffling right now. Gurley's banged up again. I don't know if you guys know. He's got a quad he's dealing with. Questionable. So if they don't get right here, their season could be spiraling out of control. So the other thing, if I could put my hands on McVay, I'd say, look, man, stop being so cute.
Yeah.
Get back to the basics. Use your running game. It's not all about you. So I'm going with the Rams at home. This one will tell me a whole lot about what I think about the 49ers moving forward, though.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ed. But the Rams are not losing 3 straight. I can't see it. As much as I want to see it, I can't see it. They're just not going to lose it. This is their bounce back game. It's not going to be an easy one. They have to get their running game over 100 yards by any means necessary. They're at 96.2 per game. Meanwhile, San Francisco only allows 81.8 with that defense. I still don't believe in San Fran. There is, I looked, no Staley or McGlinchey starting in this game. Okay. So neither tackle, and the fullback is out. So that's a lot of not blocking for a Rams defense that's looking to prove themselves. Jimmy G might be running for his life.
What Rams defense?
Yeah,
they might show up today.
Yeah,
on that day, Sunday.
They supposed to have the superstar corners on the ends, and them dudes get beat more than rookies do.
I find one of my leagues, I dropped them. I just got tired. If you want them, you can go have them. I'm done with them.
Well, it's going to start with the pass rush, and not having two tackles or a fullback is going to help that pass rush, I think.
Wow.
Let's move on to the Seahawks and the Browns. The reason I have until the Browns implode fully, I'm probably going to have them in the first segment just because I think they're compelling from that point of view. So the Seahawks are going to Cleveland to play the Seahawks, or more importantly, the Browns. This is in terms of their pattern: loss, win, loss, win, loss. Mm-hmm. So again, I think that the expectations are just too much, and they were much too early in terms of to heap all those expectations. They only scored 3 points last game, so it's going to be interesting to see if Seattle will be able to kind of give them another right blow, a little right cross, and see where that puts them. So, what do you got on this one, Sean?
I'm putting the Browns on notice because I've been rooting for them. I've been pulling for them. I want them to do well. I'm poking Baker. Do something. Do something. 18.4 points per game is not the offense anyone anticipated. Right. If they can't sustain drives in this game, Seattle's going to walk away victorious. San Fran made the Browns look like the Browns of old. They have to bounce back here. Good teams don't trade wins and losses like they have been. The Browns are giving up 150 rushing yards per game. 150. I'm still picking the Browns. And the only reason why is because I hate the Seahawks. And I'm not picking them this week because I'm mad. So I'm picking the Browns, and they better figure it out.
Well, you might not pick the Seahawks, but guess what? They back.
Oh, come on.
They do what they do in the NFC West. They just know how to win, and they find formulas. They look different in little areas. They change little things here, tweak it here and there, and they end up right back there on top of everything. I don't know how they do it. Pete Carroll's, you got to give him his props, but the Browns, I told everybody, I say it again, it's a new team, just like the Cardinals. It's not going to happen this year. They're going to struggle, and maybe at the end of the year they'll start putting it together. The Browns go as Mayfield goes. Right now, Mayfield is not. He doesn't have it all yet, and they go as he go. And like I was talking about when Richard Sherman was on him, he was right on point when he said what he said about Mayfield. He's like, you come in the league talking, veterans are going to shut you up. And then next thing you know, if you don't stop talking, you're going to be out of the league because you don't respect the league. That is right, man. This dude come in here like he done something.
I think he's built that way. He finds whatever
but you got to learn how to
he finds by talking. Maybe he's not talking to you.
Right.
He's talking to himself.
Maybe. But clear example, though. I mean, Kyler Murray was number one pick, just like Baker was. Kyler hasn't said a word about nothing. He's quiet. He's doing what that rookie's supposed to do. Baker didn't do that. Baker came in with his mouth yapping, and people are just putting targets on him. And he's got to have that pressure and learn all his offense to get everything going. Maybe he'll get it going at some point, and he'll start talking back. But right now, he just needs to be quiet, learn his offense, get his team going. Don't get in all this little back and forth with people and stuff. This is stupid right now. I mean, that's just how I see it. But I think Richard Sherman was right. So, except the handshake.
Who you going with?
Oh, in that game, I got to go with the Seahawks because I don't trust what the Browns are doing right now.
Yeah, Baker looks shook, man. I mean, he looks
Mob deep, shook.
Yeah, he looks.
Ain't no
shook
such things as halfway. Girl.
Nothing's working for him. He's, he is scuffling out there, and the game is moving a little too fast for him. And the other thing you mentioned, everybody's circling that game on their calendar.
Everybody,
just with their own different type of, motivations.
Right.
Obviously, Bosa had you with the planner. So everybody's coming up with their own reason to hate on him and go get him. And for this game, it's another Seattle just does what they do.
Right.
And they nothing exciting about them. They just kind of go in there and do what they, the running game travels well. You expect Wilson to make plays. And sometimes it's from ahead, sometimes it's from behind, but they always seem to make those plays. And I'll ask all three of you, with the last two performances, I think OBJ, 2 receptions in the last 2 games.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's like the time bomb. That old cherry bomb, you light it, and at some point, that thing going to blow up. I'm waiting for it.
Get them football nets ready. It's coming.
I'm going against my normal home team. But I'm going Seattle in this one, too, because I just...
Seasoned vet team against... We don't know where we are. Yeah,
there's too much turnover going on for them to just flip the script on a short week, remember, too.
Right.
They played on Monday night.
That's true.
And just all of a sudden, everything's going to be right. I don't see it.
Right.
What does it say to you, Ed, when there's a Super Bowl favorite that's been pinned by the national media early and they're coming in, or you're coming into them? Is that extra motivation because you just want to shut them up because it's just... Why are you putting them as favorites when they just haven't even played together for a year? Or?
Not even so much the media talking about the team, but guys get tired of hearing about OBJ. They get tired of hearing about Baker, the whole bravado. And then the other thing, I tell you, every time you turn on a game, like we watch this game or on Sundays, all these commercials this dude does, dudes are looking at that like he hasn't done anything yet. That's
what Richard said. He ain't done anything yet.
Extra motivation to go out there and be like, I'm going to set this clown down. And that's what they've been doing, like I said.
And you can see it playing out on the field, too. People are saying bye-bye to, yapping Cleveland. Yeah. Now he's putting that whole thing on the whole team. Yeah. Not just him. It's the whole team now. So, I don't know. If you just shut your mouth, come in humble, people wouldn't be out. Now you're a target, man. Your whole team is a target.
Every week.
Listen to a little Kendrick Lamar. So let's get into Arizona Cardinals at the Atlanta Falcons. Last week when we were talking about the Cardinals playing the Cincinnati Bengals, it was the kind of the worst matchup of the week if you really think about it. 0 for teams kind of coming and playing each other. This week is almost just as hapless.
Exactly.
Because you have the Cardinals, they won last week, so 1-3-1. The Atlanta Falcons 1-4. They're very similar in a lot of ways, except for when Ed and I were breaking this down for the Believe in the Arizona Cardinals podcast. The Falcons should be. Their record should be better.
Right.
It should be better based upon all the offensive firepower that they have.
Oh, yeah.
And they are underperforming, to say the least. I think the Cardinals, if nothing else, you would think that the Cardinals should have maybe one more win. So maybe be 2-3, maybe.
Correct.
As opposed to 1-3-1, of course. But when you're looking at this week and how it kind of shapes out, almost a mass unit of sorts. Christian Kirk was limited. I want to say I'm looking lately. So Christian Kirk was limited in practice. You had David Johnson that may not play this week. He did not practice. You have Suggs. He didn't practice. That could be a veteran thing. You have, of course, Tremaine Brock was limited. Zach Allen, he was fully practiced. You have Bird, wide receiver, who practiced, but who was limited in practice. But one of the thing that strikes me is that the Cardinals and the Falcons, in terms of the points per game that they put up, very, very similar, very lackluster, but kind of, the number of points that they give up. The Cardinals are terrible when it comes to in terms of their red zone. We know that's an area of opportunity. How do you see this playing out? Let's start with you, Ed.
Man, the Falcons are probably the most disappointing team in the league for me this year, just because of what they're supposed to be with all that talent. And, you look at them, if you go down their roster, you got a supposedly franchise quarterback. You got Julio Jones, supposedly one of the best, if not top 2, wide receiver in the league. You got, pieces like Ridley, Sanu, and you got the running game, all these things, and here they are 1-4.
Right.
With all the hype, they could contend for the NFC South this year, et cetera, et cetera. And with that being said, I'm looking at the Cardinals. We're 1-3-1. It's like, well, we didn't expect to go anywhere anyway.
Right.
So it's like the tale of, the fact that the Falcons are coming in here as a favorite at 1-4. That tells you what the league or what the bettors think about this Arizona Cardinals team. And what I'm saying in that is that the talent isn't there. And then also you have to give the coaching advantage probably to the Falcons as well. So with all that being said, I hate to pick against them because I told you guys last week I was done with the Falcons.
You did.
But that tells you how much, like I said, the talent.
Yeah.
You got to go with the talent, and that's why I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one.
Wow.
What you got?
Man, this is actually pretty simple. This one's simple. It comes down to one thing in this game, and that's, of course, can we get pressure on Matt Ryan?
Here's the thing. So here I heard about this, and I want to see if you saw the same thing when you're looking at the stats and whatnot. When Matt Ryan gets pressured, he still is able to step up and find the receivers. Now he's not getting sacked,
right?
So when he feels the pressure, he's able to complete the ball to his receivers. So
right.
How do you approach that from a pressure standpoint and from a coverage standpoint if you know that he can still be accurate when you get up in his face?
There's no other way to explain it. You have to get to him, not just get pressure in his face. You have to get to him and rattle him, because that's usually when you get him rattled to the point where he can't step up and do those things. Chandler Jones and Suggs have to get a pass rush. If I'm telling you right now, and the Bird Gang knows this and everybody knows it, if we don't get a pass rush on this guy, he is going to carve this defense up. And what I mean by that and why, we got 2 rookies on safety. We got half-asses playing on the cornerbacks. I don't know who we playing now. Everybody's coming into our building. Yeah, everybody's coming into our building. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And we just putting people out there. So if we don't get pressure on him, that tight end Hooper's about to kill us in this game. Yep. And Matt Ryan knows that. Matt Ryan knows that we can't guard the tight end. If you give him a clean pocket, what do you think he's going to do? And he's got 3 dangerous weapons. Yes. I mean, I just said Hooper's going to kill us because we can't guard the tight end, but then you got to look at his number 1 target, his number 2 target, and his number 3 target.
And take a half step back to last week's game with the Bengals. They didn't exploit that tight end.
No, they did not.
So that's something.
Right. And I'm so scared of this game because I can see it being a Falcons blowout in our building. Because of the rush, the pass rush that we won't get on him, and because we're 1 of 6 in a red zone that we can't score touchdowns. If we were able to score touchdowns, now we might be having a shootout game. But they score touchdowns now. They're not struggling as bad as they were last few years. They can score touchdowns, and some of their touchdowns are not always in the red zone. Some of their touchdowns are deep balls down the field and they scoring.
It's one way to get out of the red zone.
That's one way to get out of your red zone. That's how they've done it.
All that being said, they're still just scoring 20.4 points.
Correct. But
right along the lines of where the Cardinals are.
That shows their Jekyll and Hyde in this.
They're Jekyll and Hyde, but at the same time,
score 40 one
exactly,
week, and then the next week score 9 or 10. That's what that's all about. Now, I have a question.
At the same time, those defenses that they've been playing against are way better than ours. You just got to be honest. They have been way better. Now you're opening up. I'm telling you, you're coming into our house. They finna open every window up, every door. It's gonna be wide open. That's what I'm fearing. I fear that they're gonna score on every drive in this game, unless we stop them with some pass rush. It just feels like that.
Real quick, what you got?
Well, yeah. Since we've talked about the red zone, I want to know what you guys think, and I have my own theory. But what do you think is wrong with once they get inside the red zone, everything stalls? What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna show you
I
what.
know your thoughts on
you know mine. Yeah.
Let me see your papers real quick.
Which one you want?
Anyone's fine. Y'all see Cliff Kingsbury in the game when his fingers is behind his clipboard doing this? He be like, and his finger, he be shaking, man. The result of his play calling is his nervousness. He don't know what he's. Sometimes he. No, I'm serious. I'm just telling you what I see with my eyes, man. He's nervous. And when he gets in that red zone, he's nervous. His play call is the result of it. You can see it. He doesn't know what to call. They're going to think that's a bad call. They're going to think, dude, just calm down. And what did I say last time? Utilize that quarterback in some draw. And he started doing that every once in a while, and that's how they scored. If you let the defense know that Kyler is an option down there, now you can do some more trickery stuff and do some other things. But he was like,
Yeah, the red zone nerves, I think, will hopefully subside in this week, maybe a couple weeks after that. This is a game of whose defense is going to give up more points. Both defenses give up over 300 plus yards a game.
Yes,
On the flip side, both teams have questionable offensive line protection issues. Whether you're a mobile quarterback or not, both teams have been under fire for this. The Falcons have yet to win on the road. I know it's still early in the season. Cardinals have yet to win at home. There's a lot of similarities with these two teams. There's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
This one though I like. Matt Ryan, 7 interceptions. Kyler Murray, 4 interceptions.
Okay.
A little bit better ball protection. Not as many fumbles for the Cardinals. I think if the defense for the Cardinals can get a little rowdy, they might be able to get the ball back, which would give life to this Cardinal offense, which has been desperately needing the defense to help give a little spark plug, give a little piece. Just give us some field position, please. Don't put us on the 2 and start, because then we go 4 and out, and then they get the ball back on their own 50. It's not a good sign.
Right.
If the Cardinals pass rush can consistently get after Ryan, I think they can capitalize and power the offense.
I got a couple of questions for you on this one too, Ed.
You never gave your thought on.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, yeah.
Well, I love your thing with the nervousness that threw me off for a second. And this is my theory, and Jay and I talked about this the other day. Because of Kyler Murray's size, for one, when you get that close to the back of the end zone, so the further you get into the red zone, the
harder
receivers
it is,
or the DBs, there's so much more. They have so much more freedom,
Right.
Because they don't have to worry about anything over the top.
Correct.
And at the same time, the pass rush, they can come up the field and they pressure up through the middle.
Right.
And now what the Cardinals seem to be always doing is, if you notice, every time they get down the red zone, it's something rolling left or rolling right. And I was telling Jay, what you're literally doing is you're cutting half the field off when you do that.
Yeah.
So now if you roll right,
now you got even smaller field to play on.
It's even smaller with less, because the Cardinal rule is you don't throw back across coverage. So now, as everything's flowing in one direction and being squeezed this way, and then with his size limitations anyway.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
I'm just not sure how you correct that, though, because it's not like he's going to grow any.
Exactly.
You can't. It's like
We don't know that.
Come on. Maybe he still has a spurt. But and then at the same time, if you just drop him straight back, it's just too much traffic in front of him with dudes that don't have to worry about anything over the top of
I heard some guys talking about Football Focus saying that our offensive line is actually better. And so if he can just come in there and just pound the ball in the red zone. When you get on the 5-yard line, just hand it off 3 times. If you don't get it, then kick the field goal. At least you can't. At least nobody be, you getting cute, you getting old. Try to pound that sucker in there.
And Chase Edmonds has been given a nice punch on these little plays here and there. And if David Johnson doesn't quite play, look for Chase to maybe do that spurt to actually jumpstart.
But you're right. This game, these two teams are mirror of each other. They are exactly that. I mean, Vic Beasley and Tack McKinley are doing the exact same thing that Chandler Jones and T. Suggs are doing, not getting pressure on the quarterback. So
let's move. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ed, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think the Falcons are quitting on Quinn, on the coach?
I don't think they're quitting on him, but guys are going to start looking out for themselves a little more. And I would love to be a fly on the wall. Some of these conversations that he's having with ownership, and, because the one thing you remember, this dude's supposed to be a defensive specialist.
He's saying, "I'm taking the plays. I'm gonna keep doing." He's
so you would
stubborn in it.
You would think, you bring in a good offensive coordinator, they got the other side of the ball taken care of. They should be running roughshod through some of these teams.
Dang.
Attitude reflect leadership, captain.
Yes, yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's going to be something to keep in. We're definitely interested on the recap of that next week. But what was interesting was the Dallas Cowboys got up to a 3-0 start, and they were crowned. They were on their path to the Super Bowl. And everything was going to be easy for them. And Dak Prescott I think there was a stat at one point in time where he didn't have an incompletion in the third quarter. All that stuff came to an end, because they are now 3-2. They've lost their last 2, and so I'm talking about the matchup between the Cowboys and the Jets. The Cowboys, something has to happen. That thing hasn't been quite curling. Whatever the offensive genius of Kellen
Yeah.
their offensive coordinator, they have to get back on track. So will this be that game that will get them back on track? We can call it the mono game or whatever you want to call it. What you got, Sean?
Darnold or no Darnold, the Jets average 9.8 points per game. 9.8 points per game. That's not good for those who don't know. You better hope it's not Bell versus Elliott, mano y mano.
Well played, sir.
Thank you.
What you got, Ray?
Yeah, that's pretty much says it all. This got to be a get-right game for the Cowboys for sure. But when it comes down to it, it's a quarterback-driven league. And your quarterback tells you who your team is, who you are. And in the beginning, when the cupcakes are out, and you can see clearly that the cupcakes are out, you're going to make every throw you can make. But when that real team steps up in there and put it on you, now you can't. Now you're struggling to see coverage and throwing 3 picks in a game and don't know what's going on out there. They're not cupcakes anymore; they're rocks. So now you get getting rocks thrown at you. So he fooled me for 3 good weeks. Dak Prescott had me fooled, man. I'm like, this dude got it. Oh, and he don't
About to
have
get
it.
mono.
But he's still a decent quarterback. But you got to take the Cowboys and Jets, like you said, 9 point something points.
Yeah,
Come
this
on
is
now.
a get right for the Cowboys, and I always like to look at what ifs. And my what if for this week is, what if Dallas were to lose this game? And
Yes, please.
I put in my notes like Jerry would want to talk to a whole bunch of people before they got on that plane, and some of them might actually have to buy their own.
Yeah, go
tickets
ahead and
just
buy
to
your own
get
ticket and get
home.
out of here, Garrett.
So, in other words, this is one of those.
You can't lose
I
that.
mean, I hope you look good winning it.
Yeah,
That's the other
really.
thing, too.
Yeah, really.
All right, so let's move on to the Bengals at the Ravens. The Ravens are 3-2, and I know I was believing in the quarterback. So here's the thing: when you look at the Ravens, so they won their last one. They won last week, so that with that in overtime, they lost the 2 previous to that. They're giving up. The last 3 weeks they've given up a lot of points, so 33, 40, and 23 is not too bad, but still it's just something in terms of offense. Passing last week was 277 yards, 139 yards passing. That was a big issue. 138 yards rushing, but the Bengals, there again, that wounded animal. You don't want to be the one to get that first loss to the Bengals. So, what's your thoughts on this one, Ed?
Man, the Bengals, oh my goodness. If you can't beat the Cardinals at home and you're going to go on the road to Baltimore, what in God's name makes you think that we have any confidence in you at this time?
Right.
They can't block anybody.
Right.
They can't run against anybody. They can't stop anybody from running on them. So for me, this is Baltimore, and after, the last couple games for them, they still have some stuff to prove. I think they're the class of that division with their, Pittsburgh being all banged up and the Browns being the Browns and Bengals
What does
being
that
the
say
Bengals.
about that division? Does
It says it's really bad.
underperforming?
Oh, it's
Black and
but
blue.
in normal instances, minus Cincinnati, actually not even minus Cincinnati, because how bad Cleveland's been over the last few years. But
And
you always had that
Pittsburgh's all
battle
up
of
in
Pittsburgh and Baltimore on the top of it.
Right.
Now without that,
Man.
it's like, man, this is bad. Can somebody just win this and get it over with? So so this one is Baltimore all the way. After watching Cincy last week and actually picking them and giving you one back, I just, like I said, they're pathetic.
Yeah, this whole division, mostly this whole division has turned into that produce you bought 2 days ago. You thought it was good, and then all of a sudden it's moldy when you pulled it open. I just came up with that one. Don't worry about that one. That's a toss away. The Bengals proved that you can still throw the ball every play without your 2 best receivers and still lose. Baltimore needs to dominate this team after dropping 2 straight and barely leaving Pittsburgh with a win. I'm going Baltimore.
The only thing I'm going to say about this game is why you got them so high on this list.
It was interesting to me just from the Ravens standpoint.
Oh, okay. Because they should have been in that trash heap in the segment
Oh, there's
4.
some in there.
But real quick, my man Matthew Brandon, good stat. Matt Ryan, 4-1 hitting his career against the Cardinals. I'm gonna use that in the place of this game. Did you say that?
He's got another one he came up with. He got a better one. The last 10 times the Cardinals and Falcons have played one another, every home team won that game.
Whoa. That's nice,
not
Matt. Good job,
Shout out to
bro.
Matt.
Shout out to Matt, man.
So let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles at the Minnesota Vikings. This is interesting to me because I just want to know which Kirk Cousins is going to show up, and I hope
There's more than one?
that your nephew.
Yeah.
I hope that your
one
nephew
that
is.
says
He just keep
you like
just
that.
watching and observing and trying to do the best job that he can. As there's turmoil on the team, and he's doing his thing. So I hope he's trying to get through and navigate. But this is just interesting to me. I'm curious to see if the Eagles. They're a little bit of a perplexing team to me. Both teams are 3-2. So what do you got on this one, Earl?
This looks like the same thing. Two teams that look just alike. Well, the Eagles, like you said, you just can't figure them out. What are they? Are they a power running team, or are they pretty much relying on the quarterback? His name, Wentz. Yeah, it's like he hasn't really looked spectacular, but he knows how to manage and win a game when he has to,
Like
and he gets both them quarterbacks get paid like they spectacular, and we already know what the other one looked like. Spectacular. But I had to take the Eagles because they're a little bit more stable in what they're doing. The Vikings are just up and down. They arguing one week and arguing with each other the next, and who knows. So I'm going Eagles.
This division has gotten really muddy, and it's about to get really bloody. The Vikings defense at home is nothing to mess with. If Cousins can put together just one 30-yard pass, they'll win the game. So I'm going Vikings.
130-yard. Oh, that's good.
Just one 30-yard
That's good.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. And that's what Thielen's saying too.
Just keep it short and sweet. Just one 30-yard pass, game sealed. It's done.
What you got, Ed?
How predictable was that Vikings game last
Too
week
predictable.
after all the stuff
Let's
and
throw the ball to those guys that are
apologies
crying.
So they went over
Let's
there
feed
and
the
picked on
babies.
Yeah, they went over there and picked on the
Yeah.
Giants and did all
Yeah.
that running around and everything. Now everything's kumbaya. I will say this much. You just pointed out, Sean, that dog, and I have the advantage. I saw it live and in person,
Yeah.
what they did to the Falcons in week 1 and that home field advantage up there.
Really?
Oh my God.
Wow.
It is something else. And if they can put that type of pressure on Wentz, keep them off their toes, I see that defense winning the game, not necessarily the offense carrying them. And the one thing I will say, the warning for me is that Philly is already going on the road in this division in Green Bay and stole one.
Right.
So that's what gives me a little like, But like I said, seeing that defense and what they can be in that dome is going to be. I mean, they might turn that thing upside down, but it's going to be a good game. But I definitely, I'm picking the Vikings in this one. You stay with your pick, though.
Oh, I'm staying with them Eagles.
Lock it in.
Staying with them Eagles. They just have a way of hanging in there and beating you up.
All right, let's move on to the the Saints at the Jaguars. Teddy Bridgewater came through, did his thing. He was balling out of control. After the first couple of weeks, after taking over for Breeze, it was pedestrian to say the least. So this is one of those games. I'm curious. Minshew, there's the Minshew mania, all that stuff. It'll probably be rocking a little bit for Jacksonville, a little bit, because they try to sell these special packages with people with the mustache and all that stuff. But that's gonna get old after another
fade
loss
out.
once that happens. But your thoughts on the Saints? Are the Saints kind of getting right? And so when Breeze comes back to take over in a few weeks, they'll just be have really ascended to be able to be at a point where they're hitting on all cylinders. What's your thought on this and what you got, Ed?
Man, this is a game that has me so perplexed because I wanted to pick the Saints so bad because they have been playing well. You lose Drew Brees, they're expected to be out 6 weeks, and they're like, if they can just go 3-3, here they are. They've won 3 games without him. He might be on the faster track to come back. But doesn't this just feel like one of those games?
Yeah, it does.
They go out on the road, on the grass, outside of the dome.
Right.
And this is one of those
And
games.
look sluggish.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Who could blame, who would you take 3-1 at this point?
Hell yeah.
Minus Breeze. So for me, I'm going with the Jaguars, but I
Whoa!
Jaguars.
Where's that little
But-
there.
Yeah, there's no borders.
There's no
The borders
borders,
over there.
no
This is
No problem.
I will say this much though, and I'm not saying this just to say it because I even put it on my sheet. This between now and Sunday at 1:00 kickoff or whatever time it is, I might change this pick 3 or 4 times. I just
okay.
don't know. But
Okay.
right now, I'm going with the Jaguars.
Wow, that's bold right there.
Did you already go?
I
Not
went
yet.
first on that one.
This game is going to be actually a lot closer than anticipated. The points per game for both teams is virtually the same. I have to go with the more experienced coach here, even though it's on the road. I got to go with Sean Payton. I think he coaches this team to a win.
Right.
If that is possible. I think he's going to scheme a way to shut down Minshew Mania and then just maybe run the clock out and squeak one out by 3 and just leave Jacksonville, with a win.
Wouldn't you like to have seen Jalen Ramsey play against Michael Thomas in this game?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been good.
Isn't Ramsey practicing this week?
Ramsey's he's doing everything possible not to get on that field, man.
Yeah, he said he might practice.
He might practice. He might not. He might show up. He might not. I haven't heard him come back yet. I don't know, but he could come back. It'd be nice to see
The
that.
show, Jalen.
But but I'm gonna tell y'all this: Teddy Bridgewater is not a backup quarterback.
No.
He is not a backup. He just happens to be the Saints' backup quarterback, but he is not a backup quarterback. So this Jaguar team ain't got a chance against this team. Ooh. This is going to be one of those Jaguar games you think they up and they down. They're going to be like, oh, we can't challenge this team. They're going to bow down and the Saints going to win this by 2 touchdowns.
The West Side Connection. All right, this one I just want the laughs right here.
Oh, man.
Miami Dolphins at the Washington Redskins. I think there's gonna be one team trying not to win, and another team that doesn't really care whether they win or lose. And you're not gonna be able to tell which one is which, even though we know the Dolphins are trying to do whatever they can to either get Herbert or Tua or whoever that might be. But they don't care. So this is the fourth segment for those paying attention. If you couldn't tell by that game right there, I'm just curious what y'all got. How ugly do you think this game is going to be, or do you think it might be one of those where it's high scoring but still a garbage game? What you got, Earl?
A football game is hard when two teams are going at it trying to win. It's harder when two teams are trying to lose. How do you do that? How do you get on the football field and do things that would say, I want to lose this game? Both teams doing it. So, I don't know. Who got the home field? Dolphins. Josh has been playing pretty good, though. I got to give him that. Even though he doesn't have a front line, and he doesn't have everything, he's been doing all right. I think the Dolphins will win this game.
Garbage game of the week. Dolphins want to lose more. The Redskins get their first win on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny. I put dumpster fire game.
Dumpster fire.
And I'm going with the Redskins only because the Dolphins are actually trying to lose.
Yes.
And then in my little notes, I feel sorry for the Dolphins fans who have to go watch something like that live because that's the only thing you have. If this was our home base and we had to, man, I'd be looking for something like golf or something to not have to watch what that.
Hey, real quick though,
or the Hurricane.
This Dolphins can go ahead and try to actually win this game because can the Redskins really say that they would go for Tua when they in the draft if they got Haskins already?
Yeah, but the problem is if they were in that spot, they could use that as a bargaining chip.
That's true.
Haven't they drafted 2 quarterbats in the same draft before?
Exactly. Oh, man. That's so true.
GM that was there before.
Right. So true.
So the Thursday night game was the Patriots at the Giants, and the Patriots were victorious. How did you see this game playing out? As the game wore on, the Patriots ended up pulling away. So that spread, I think the better spread, I think they ended up covering that. But
yeah.
Anyway, so how did you think this was going to play out, Ed?
The defense won that game. Okay. That was not the offense that we're accustomed to seeing in New England. And I'm not sure what the issue is because if you look at the teams that they've been playing to this point,
right,
they should be steamrolling because they haven't played anybody.
They haven't played nobody.
Consistently looked out of sync.
Yeah.
Tom looks like, maybe he's using some of that Grecian formula or something to cover the gray up because he looks like he's aging like this season right before our eyes. So I expected that game to be more of a power through, and they actually, like I said, it looks like it was a blowout, but it was because of that defense, not because of that offense.
I agree with that 100%. They look bored.
Yeah.
And not so much just bored only, but they look bored at the same time. They look, like you said, out of sorts. Mm-hmm. It's like if a real team was in there playing them, they'd probably be lost 2 games by now because they don't look as powerful as they should look. That game last week, we watched. He's like, why they have such trouble with Washington? They just don't look like they just could be sleepwalking through this season until they get to that dang playoffs and then they wake up.
might get pushed in the
Exactly.
playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah, I saw the Giants having 0 shot here, but shout out to Marcus Golden for that one fumble recovery for a touchdown. Else that would have been a complete disaster. 35-14, right, was the final?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots managed to have the world's easiest schedule. It almost feels like they're playing preseason game plan
Yeah.
because they know that this schedule is so easy for them, and they're just kind of just
Who
skipping through
does
the
their
season.
schedule? They get 6 easy wins first, and then you give them all these other cupcakes too.
They must
Man.
have sent the schedule maker to that massage parlor.
Like,
That's all.
oh,
2 for 1 special.
which gets swept under the rug now. You ain't heard nothing about that lately, huh?
Nope, not a thing.
So the what do we have? We have the Chargers, the Steelers at the Chargers. Steelers at the Chargers. So this 2-3 Chargers, the 1-4 Steelers. The Steelers. It's funny. It was a couple weeks when Ben went out. I think it was Bomani Jones that said they ain't a happier man in the world. The fact that Antonio Brown is gone and that Ben Roethlisberger ain't gonna be playing, so you don't have to worry about it. Then Mike Tomlin, but the wins aren't there, so I'm sure that he wishes Ben was there and at least give him a few wins. Even though Mason Rudolph was captain check down and ended up getting them that first win. But your thoughts on this when it comes to the Chargers at the Steelers? The Chargers, again, I don't trust the Chargers, but your thoughts on them, Sean?
You know, this game reeks of field goals and bad gameplay. Chargers at home. But this is one of those, like, I'm going to go Ed Smith rule because I don't know who either of these teams are. I don't want to know who either of these teams are. I just want the season to end so I don't have to see them anymore. Just hurry up.
Yeah, the Chargers are fooling themselves thinking they're a playoff team right now. I don't know.
They can't honestly think that, though, can they?
They must, because they just think we're just in a little sluggish little spot. But we're right there with New England and Kansas City and no, the Raiders are starting to take over y'all's spot a little bit. But the Steelers, they're starting quarterbacks. I don't think Rudolph's going to be back from Porter.
He's practicing, but
Is he?
Yeah, he did practice.
He
Yeah.
got black. Now I didn't know what was going on with this story. I turned around and saw him up on his feet. I'm like, what the hell? How is he walking off the field?
Oh, do you see when
They
he
didn't
was
have
down,
a
he had that
freaking
arm out thing. That
yeah.
I've
It's
seen
like
those.
this. He's like just
Yeah.
froze. I'm like, I was like, dang. How they said they was out of the golf carts wasn't working to get him off the field. I said that's
His
messed
brain must
up.
have went into autopilot and he just walked off.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I'm gonna take the Chargers in that game, but man, yeesh.
Yeah.
I'm close to being done with the Chargers, just like with the Falcons. Every week, you don't know what you're gonna
You
get.
have
from
no
them.
clue.
Home against the Broncos, you got every reason to go out there, division game, and they're that team when you're not paying attention to scores, and all of a sudden you look at me like, what the, and you just can't. But at home, Steelers might be on their third string quarterback. If Mason Rudolph can't play, if you don't win this game, like I said, I'm officially almost done with it. So
Right.
I'm gonna go Chargers only because it's home, and like I said, just the Steelers. I mean, they are just battered and bruised right now. So
Another Cardinal player in the
Oh,
another Cardinal player in the news for sexual misconduct.
that does not count. That is not breaking news.
I just got that one. Yeah, I was
Well done, well done. We got Panthers at the Buccaneers. Dude. Panthers at the Buccaneers. The Bucs ended up losing last week to the Saints. The Jameis Winston is that dude that I think the Bucs will go as far as Jameis Winston takes them. So when you're looking at what happened last week, what was it? There was 158 yards passing, if I am not mistaken. Yep. For the Buccaneers, and of course going against the Panthers, not sold on their backup. So this is one of those games. Who you got, Earl?
Panthers is kind of real though. They got a running game, man. That little dude McCaffrey ain't no joke, man.
That boy bad though.
That boy is. I mean, to be that small, that dude is a bad dude, man. I'm like, they work everything around him. And if they can run like that, don't matter who they play. But BA and them, or the Buccaneers, period. These two teams play. It's always a high scoring game. They just go back and forth. They just go back and forth, and it don't matter. So I mean, I'm gonna go with the Panthers because they have a running game.
If this game was in Carolina, I'd pick Carolina. Because they're in Tampa, I'm going with Tampa. And I will say this much about BA. He's good at putting smart people around him.
Okay.
And to have Bowles and to go get Bowles and get that
Right.
defense. That defense is taking pressure off that offense. The only
That's
thing you have
true.
to be aware of is those bad Jameis Winston plays every now and then.
There you go. Now he riding Jameis like he was riding Bortles.
I'm telling you. But with it being at home, if they keep him under control, that defense, I think, will win this game for Tampa.
Yeah, the Bucs are starting to look competitive. I'm gonna roll the dice and take them at home as well. I do respect the Panthers running game. It's no disrespect to them, but BA can work some tricks up his sleeve. I'm gonna go Buccaneers.
I already told you, Panthers.
Okay. So last game of the week,
I'm positive.
Denver Broncos.
Even though my page is blank, I didn't say anything. I could give a damn about this game.
Denver Broncos, Tennessee Titans. The Denver Broncos are 1-4. Tennessee Titans are 2-3. Mariota. You never know what you're gonna get. The good Mariota, the bad Mariota. He's the poster child for inconsistent quarterback play. Somebody has to win this one, I suppose, unless there's a tie. So who you got on this one, Sean?
Unless there's a tie, but this is the second garbage game of the week.
Right.
Broncos at home just because they don't know how bad they need a top draft pick, so they're gonna win.
And
Broncos
even if they
at
had it, the Elway would still make the wrong quarterback choice.
Yeah, he would pick like the tallest one he could find, even though they're not even ready for the draft yet, and they didn't declare. So,
Exactly.
So you ain't got no belief in Flacco, huh?
No.
Exactly. Who? Derrick Henry. That's all I can say. Titans win.
Wow, okay. I'm going Broncos just because they're at home, and this is Mariota, boy. I tell you, he is. I don't even.
Yeah, he's so up and down. I don't even know if he won or lost last week.
Well,
What did he do last week?
Is he or is he not a franchise quarterback?
Nah.
Contract's gonna be up here soon. It's gonna be
You're
time
gonna
for
find
them
out. You
to either pay him or not. But Broncos at home, only the Broncos though could lose this on a last second field goal or something
Right.
stupid like that. So be aware of that.
Well, that is what we do.
Here's a note for you guys, real quick, before you leave. When you check the game out this weekend. Look around the whole stadium, the Red Sea. Everybody's gonna have on the bow ties for Bidwell, the Red Sea.
Okay.
All the Red Sea's gonna be having. I don't know. They're telling people coming to the game you to bring them or wear them or whatever, but the whole Red Sea's gonna have on bow ties. So that's gonna be pretty interesting.
myself one then.
Oh yeah, you going? So you didn't hear nothing? No memo or nothing, huh? Yeah. So get your family, everybody in the bow ties, man.
I'm also curious to see.
Who the hell has bow ties? You got bow ties?
I think I got one.
Oh, okay.
You have a
Go to Sears and
tuxedo or
get a bow tie. Do they still got Montgomery Ward?
Yeah, I'll give me a clip on. I'll come in there with a damn clip on and be like, clip.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see what the makeup of the game is going to be in terms of the Atlanta Falcons fans.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually a decent showing, but
We shall see.
Yeah.
So we do this every Thursday. Thank y'all. So again, go to ksrnaz.com for everything that deals with sports. You'll read podcasts that are on there. Everything ksrnaz.com. So on behalf of Sean, on behalf of Earl, on behalf of Ed, I am Javon J. Love Adams, and like we always say around this time,
We gone. Peace, Facebook. I'll say it another time. Good cheat. I ain't had time to do no research on